Thanks for joining me, everyone. We'll get the webinar started here in just a second. Today, I'm going to cover a little bit about multivitamins, supplements, specialty vitamins, and so join me. It's going to be a lot of fun. At least it will be for me. So welcome to the call, everyone. Hi, my name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick. We'll get started here in just a couple of minutes. We're live on Facebook, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. We got some beautiful weather coming. It's supposed to be in the high 30s. That's nice for us here. For all of you down in Australia and New Zealand, over and other exotic places around the world, that may not sound all that warm. My buddy was sending me pictures from down in Australia. He was out duck hunting yesterday. And beautiful weather. We don't get to hunt in beautiful weather up here in Fargo, in the North Dakota area. So it usually is cold, raining, or possibly snowing. But anyhow, welcome to the call. We'll get started. All right, well, let's get this thing rolling. Welcome to the call, everybody. It's now noon Eastern and 11 o'clock here in the Midwest. So welcome to the call. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit, I guess, a list of what I take for vitamins and supplements, a little bit about what I do to keep my health. And you know, would I say that I'm the most healthy person on the planet? No. But I work at it. You know, how can I possibly go out and tell all of you what you need to be taking if I'm not following my own recommendations? So really, in reality, that's what I'm doing today. Is I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, and then you can make your decisions based off of that. Now, as I go through the list of things that I'm taking, chances are you're going to be thinking, holy cow, do you really do that every day? Yeah, my answer is yep, I do this every day. And I'll tell you the reason why I probably overtake supplements. You know, and really, I probably do overtake some, and I pee it out, urinate it out. But I would rather have more expensive urine and not have to worry about getting sick. And I think that's my attitude. I try and pay attention to the science. I try to pay attention to things like, am I getting too much of this or too much of that? Because you can overdose on certain things as well. So I watch those types of things, and the nutritional supplements that you can actually overdose on, I really pay close attention to those. And so when you hear me talk about the different things that I take, I want you to realize that I have thought about that. So I just don't randomly take things. It's all thought out, and in a lot of cases, you'll find that I might take more of this, more of that at certain times of the year. I might take more of things based on what I know based on myself. I suggest that all of you get a genetic test, get a profile. Get one, like if you're in Australia, Smart DNA, they do genetic profiling down there. Here in the United States, we have 23andMe. We have a number of different companies, Genomics, based out of North Carolina, great company. That's where I had mine tested way back in 1999. And you know, we've seen some articles written that one of the reasons that we're seeing the price of these genetic tests going down right now, part of it is that 23andMe, for example, which is owned by a billionaire's wife, she started selling the results, the data, to GlaxoSmithKline. Now, you might think, I don't want my data owned by a drug company, by Big Pharma. In reality, as I look at it, I kind of do. I want the data owned by them because, as I told people way back in 1999, right now, when you go to your doctor says, well, you have high blood pressure, take this. And they write you a prescription. And if it doesn't work, guess what they do? They throw another one at you. Next time you go in, oh, that didn't work, try this. And when that one doesn't work, try this. And they use a shotgun approach. What if you could walk in with your genetic profile and you could say, here's my owner's manual. This is why I have high blood pressure. And now they can give you a specific drug based on your genetics. That's what I see this being important. And so they can make designer drugs. And drugs aren't all bad. I mean, you'll see on my Facebook page that you'll say that I'm slamming these big pharma. Well, the reason that I do that is because so many times that they're trying to do things that, in my opinion, is only for profit. And in this case, with what I'm talking about, if they do it right, they can bump their profit levels way up, but they can do it with us in mind, rather than doing it with just themselves in mind. And I think that we'll see this, probably see it more with the small pharmaceutical companies first, because they see that as their niche where they fit in. And so that's just kind of my thoughts on genetic tests. But what I like about genetic tests for us when we're talking about nutritional products is, well, what happened there? What I see with it is, with nutritional products, the fact that I know that I have certain nutritional deficiencies going on in my body. It's something that was passed on by my mom or my dad, from my grandma, my grandpa, from family history. It's all come together, and that's what makes up me. And so I had my genetic profile run way back in 1999. Back then, it was over $3,000 to have that done, but I ended up with almost like a little, I would say it would be like a little, catalog of some sort, that I could page through it and I could read why do I have certain risks of heart disease? Why do I have certain risks of certain cancers, things like that? And what can I do to lower those risks? And so as I go through the supplements that I'm taking, some of it's based on that. Some of it's based on trends. Some of it's based on the fact that I know my lifestyle. I know some of the things that I'm doing wrong. I know some of the things that I'm doing right. And that makes a difference. And so you have to kind of do a self-analysis of you, because what you need is different than what I need. But according to Harvard, and I just want to show you something here. According to Harvard, let me show you this. They have an article here. I hope you can see that. It's an article that says, do multivitamins make you any healthier? And this is published March 2014. Now, again, they're only talking about multivitamins. And which multivitamin did they test? Well, they don't say in the article, but chances are they used the most common multivitamin. It starts with the letter C, like Central or, but I can't say the name. I don't want to say the name, but they say, here's what they say. They say, if you take a multivitamin, it's probably because you want to do everything you can to protect your health. True? Isn't that why you would take a vitamin? They go on to say there's limited evidence that a daily cocktail of essential vitamins and minerals actually delivers what you expect. The latest round of studies published in December, this was December 2013, Annals of Internal Medicine found no benefits from multivitamins at all in protecting the brain and heart. But some medical experts at Harvard still think there's hope. The potential benefits, there's no risk at this time, says Dr. Howard Sessa, Associate Professor of Epidemiology at the Harvard School of Public Health. He says it's worth considering a multivitamin part of a healthy lifestyle. And, that's published alongside of an editorial that said that multivitamin studies urge consumers to stop wasting their money. So where do you go? Who is the expert? Who is the expert? And, then you look at what vitamin. So if you're taking the most common multivitamin sold on the market today, yeah, chances are you might as well drive down the road, open up your sunroof, and throw it out the window. That's my opinion. And that's the opinion of some experts in the field that I know. And so it says that Dr. Sesso says a true multivitamin pill that provides essential vitamins and minerals at relatively low levels. And he says that, is there really any benefits of that? And so they talk about, a multivitamin that has the daily requirements of 31 vitamins and minerals essential for good health. Well, I'll tell you, folks, if you're only getting 31 vitamins and minerals, yeah, you're getting a minimum. You're getting a minimum. And so they say, even with that, they say there's a modest reduction in cancer and cataracts. They say that there's no protective benefit against cardiovascular disease, declining mental function. Well, of course, this isn't a multivitamin that's designed to stop that. So anyhow, I wanted to throw that out there because that's the study that a lot of you are going to run up against when you go talk to your doctor. Your doctor's going to say, well, there's limited studies showing that it's even good for you. That's the study that they read. So bear that in mind, that they're comparing one vitamin. Chances are it's the most popular multivitamin on the market, and it contains at best 31 vitamins and minerals. And then I was at the factory where they make this vitamin, and they coat it with a form of shellac, right? Do you know what shellac is? Shellac is what I put on the wood here in my house to protect it. Shellac is what I put on as like varnish on a table to protect the wood. If I eat this wood, is my body going to be able to digest it? Well, no, it's got shellac on it. Can your body dissolve shellac? Maybe some of you, not for most of us. So let's look at that first. What did they actually study? And then there was another study that came out, and they said that high doses of vitamin E are actually more harmful for you and actually cause heart disease. Well, again, let's look at what are they actually studying? What are they using? And they're actually using a form of vitamin E that's synthetic versus a natural vitamin E. And so you have to look at those things. Again, the synthetic vitamin E increases your risk of heart disease, cardiovascular disease, but the natural form actually lowers it. Those are some things that you want to look at. I was just reading a study this morning. It said that we're noticing that the overall numbers for the number of people in North America Western world that are having strokes, cardiovascular accidents, is going down. It's on the decline. But at the same time that it's on the decline overall, we're seeing that the numbers are going up for young people, the age group of 18 to 34. So we have to ask ourselves, why? Why are young people having more problems with strokes? Well, the answer can lie in the fact that they're eating more processed food. That chances are they're eating almost all processed food, which has no nutrition. Very few of them are eating what I would consider to be healthy. And so when you look at that, that adds to it. So let's look at RDA. What is the RDA? The recommended daily allowance, right? Is it really the recommended daily allowance, or has that term actually kind of not really all that accurate as well? So I look at, what's the recommended daily allowance? Well, the recommended daily allowance actually started way back about 50 or 60 years ago. They looked at a otherwise healthy person, 150-pound person at that time, 50 to 60 years ago. Well, it's 50 years later. We've got different health concerns. We're not worried about rickets. We're not worried about scurvy, although they're coming back. But those aren't the main diseases that we're worried about in today's world. We're worried about other things. And so you have to look at that. So when they came up with the minimum daily requirements of certain vitamins and nutrients, that's what it was based on, how to prevent rickets and scurvy. Well, I'm not really too concerned about getting rickets or scurvy today. And so does it really make sense to follow the minimum daily requirements? And the minimum daily requirements, again, was written for somebody who is otherwise healthy. I'd question how many of us are really truly healthy. If you look up the definition of health, it means that your organs, your body is functioning at 100%. It's optimized. It's optimized, right? And that's a key word, because so many people think that they're healthy just because they say, well, I feel good. I feel good. A friend of mine came over yesterday and we were talking, and he said that he was healthy, other than the fact that he felt like he had a lack of energy. And I said, well, there's a number of things that can cause lack of energy, because he had tried the normal things like caffeine and energy drinks and things like that. And I said, let's look at it. What's going to zap the energy out of it? What's going to pull the energy out, right? So that's what we have to look at. What's going to pull the energy out of your body? Well, one of the things that can pull the energy out of your body is that maybe your body's using the energy to fight something else. I mean, let's just say that you're developing cancer. Are you going to have a lack of energy? Perhaps, because your body's going to be taking energy from here and pulling it over here. Do you necessarily want to bump your energy levels up? I'd say yes, but at the same time, don't we want to try and figure out why the energy levels are down? If it's a tumor, I'd say yes. What if you're fighting an infection? And some people might say, well, yeah, but I'd know if I have an infection. Really? Would you? Would you? You know, a friend of mine, he passed away here in January, same age as me, youngest kid in my high school class. And he passed away. He had an infection. Some of the studies that I've heard said that that infection had been laying dormant in his body for years. Yeah. Okay. So obviously he didn't really know that it was there. Do you know? Those are things you want to look at. Maybe you're fighting joint degeneration. Maybe you have arthritis somewhere and your body's using it for that. Yeah. So those are some things that you want to look at. So when you start looking at how is the decline of health, when do you actually know that you have a health problem? When you start feeling sick, when you start feeling that something's wrong. And I guess what I'll say is simply this, is that by the time you start to notice that you have a health issue, by the time that you've been diagnosed with something wrong with you, you've got some pretty major dysfunction. One group of scientists that I tend to follow, tend to believe, they say that you have 50 to 60% dysfunction of an organ before it actually displays noticeable symptoms of being unhealthy. Think about that. 50 to 60%. That's half of the function of the organ before you start to notice symptoms that you're sick. So do you want to go off of how you feel? Do you want to base your health on how you feel? I don't do that. And I don't think you should either. And so what do you base it on? Well, let's look at a few things again, kind of on what we do. I mean, we know our own lifestyle. I know what I do for a living. I know what I do in my free time. I know what I cook and what I eat. Well, I know those things. I know what I've done in the past. You do too. You do too. And so you assess that and you go, okay, well, maybe in your case, you know that you don't get enough of the greens, the kale and the spinach and those types of things. Well, if you know that you're not getting enough of that, if you're not getting 12 servings a day, because that's what they recommend, 12 servings. And what's a serving? A serving would be, a handful. When you take your hand and that's a serving. Are you getting that? I'd say you're probably not. I'd probably say 99% of you aren't getting it. I'm not. I'm not afraid to admit it. I know it, and I'm not. So I have to supplement. Why do we need so much of that today versus, say, 50 or 60 years ago? Well, 50 or 60 years ago, our food had more nutrients. So it's not that we need the bulk of all that, but we need the nutrients that are found in that. And that's what we used to have. So I supplement for that. I know based on my genetics, I have certain deficiencies, I have certain weaknesses. And so I take supplements to make up for that. I know that I like to work with my old car, so I'm probably exposed to some petroleum type of toxins. I take detoxes. I do a lot in the detox area, probably more than most of you, just because I know that I'm being exposed to some of these things. And so look at your lifestyle and decide. Look at that and think about the whole genetic profile. Get that done and look at that. So what do I take? Well, in the morning when I first get up, one of the first things that I do is I have myself a big glass of hydrogen water, hydrogen infused, oxygenated water. And why do I do that? Well, I know that hydrogen is one of the best natural antioxidants on the planet. Your body naturally produces it when you eat fiber because your bacteria in your gut, as they break down fiber, they produce hydrogen. And so really when you look at hydrogen, some people say, well, what's the upper limit? How much can you take? Is this too much? Is that too much? And really bottom line is that you're not gonna, I don't think you're gonna consume too much. You're not gonna consume too much. And so I drink some in the morning. I drink that again at night. And I like to use the product that we came out with Sizzle, just because it's so highly enriched with hydrogen. It's like hundreds of times better than anything else on the market. So that neutralizes some of the free radicals in your body. It neutralizes the most damaging of the free radicals, called the hydroxyl group. I do that right away in the morning. Next thing that I do is I take a shot of a liquid resveratrol product. Again, it comes from the company that I work with. It's called Sizzle. And the reason that I take this product is called Eternity. And the reason that I take this product is because we know that our DNA is getting damaged every single day. Our DNA is getting damaged. And you might say, well, I don't have damage. Well, yes, you do. We all get damaged DNA every day. And they found that resveratrol works with the SIRT1 gene. And this gene specifically repairs damaged DNA. So that's why I take resveratrol. And why do I take the brand that I take? Because of the science behind it, backing it up. The science shows that you have to have certain criteria to have a potent resveratrol product. Most resveratrol products on the market don't meet that criteria, and that's why I like resveratrol. Plus, it comes in I can drink it in a little shot glass, a 1 ounce shot, and I'm getting all the resveratrol I need. I don't have to pop any more pills. Then I take a fucoidan product, and fucoidan is an extract from brown seaweed. Some of you might know it as lima mui. But what they found with brown seaweed is that it helps with getting rid of inflammation. And every single chronic disease that's on the planet has inflammation as one of the main components. So I like to kind of keep that inflammation under control. It helps with heart disease. It helps out with the brain. It helps out with the gut, just because it gets rid of the inflammation, right? We can't say cure or anything like that. All we can say is that studies show that it helps with inflammation. And these are studies on the actual extract, not on our product. Another study came out a year ago, last April, and I read it, and it said that this brown seaweed extract actually helps to mobilize stem cells. Well, what does that mean? That means that it's going to take the stem cells and it's going to move them to the areas of most need. So if I have a bad shoulder, it's going to mobilize the stem cells to my shoulder. I do a lot of work with stem cells, and I like that. I like the idea that we can mobilize those stem cells right to where they need, rather than just disperse them across the entire body. Because as we get older, we start to get a little deficient on the old stem cells. And so we want to make sure that they go where they're supposed to go. Then I take a product called SpectraMax. And what this is, it's a full spectrum mineral product. It's got 74 trace essential minerals. Remember, I was saying that on that Harvard study, they actually studied a vitamin with 31 vitamins and minerals. 31 vitamins and minerals. I'm talking to you now about a product that's got 74 trace essential minerals. That's it. 74 trace essential minerals. We need those minerals in our body every single day for biological function. And if your body gets to a certain point of healing and all of a sudden you're deficient on a vitamin that takes it beyond that point, guess what? The biological function stops. And so I take that every single day. It has fulvic acid. What fulvic acid is? Fulvic acid is a nutrient that was discovered. The scientists called it kind of a miracle molecule, because they found that it moves nutrients into the cell and it pulls toxins out. Well, we live in a toxic world. Andrea and I talked about that last week on this call. And so wouldn't it be important that you know that you're taking your toxins out and you're pushing the nutrients in at the same time? And so that's why I use that. Plus, it's got 40 antioxidants. Again, folks, compare that to what the Harvard study was studying with that multivitamin. They said that had 31 vitamins and minerals, right? We've got 74 trace minerals and 40 antioxidants in one product. It comes in a little 1 ounce shot glass. You take that in the morning and you're good to go for the day. It tastes good. It tastes good. Then I take my age pill. What age pill is it's a high potency niacin based type product. Niacinamide, nicotinamide acid, all these different forms of niacin. And they've studied niacin for the last 80 years, And really niacin is essential for activating stem cells, pulling them out of senescence. You'll hear that word thrown around a lot. They protect you against UV radiation. And as we have problems with our ozone, different things, you know, as we listen to the climate changer group, they say that there's a problem with the ozone. And especially for you down down under, down in Australia, New Zealand, you have a real problem with your ozone down there. Here we have a vitamin a supplement that the science says that this nicotinaminic acid, the niacinamide, these things can help protect your body against radiation. Plus, it does a number of other things. Harvard's done some great studies, and they show that it helps with autoimmune type disorders. Now, again, this is on the ingredients. It's not on the product, but I take that in the morning. Again, I take that at night too, and I'll go over what I'm taking at night. I take another product that's called Renovator, and that's another Sizzle product. Again, you'll find that a lot of my products I take are from this company named Sizzle, S-I-S-E-L. And the reason that I do that is because I find that the science, the family that does the science behind these products, they don't just sprinkle a little bit in there and say, oh, that's in there. They put the therapeutic dose of what we need in there. And you look at their multivitamin, for example. Their multivitamin is based on real studies. It's not, you know, a little bit of, it's not 100% of the RDA. When you look at the label, it doesn't say 100% of 31 vitamins and minerals. Some of it's 30%, some of it's 100%, some of it's 300%. And the reason for that is because we have different needs than they did in the 1950s. But Renovator is a product for joints, for, you know, I mean, I beat myself up. I've gotten run over by a car. I got run over in a motorcycle accident. I've fallen off the side of a mountain. You know, I've done a number of things in my life that I've injured myself, and my joints, they're arthritic. And so Renovator helps with that. It's got MSM, it's got glucosamine, it's got other extract, it's got curcumin. And these things help with making it so that I can move my joints better, you know, and I can say that that's a claim based on function. I can move better. I have less pain. So Renovator is a great product for that. I take Super Omega, and why do I take Super Omega versus a less expensive fish oil type of product? And I'll tell you basically this is that there's certain oils, omega-3 type oils, that they found help with different things. And so if you have one that comes from krill oil, for example, versus salmon oil versus cod liver oil, they help with different things. And so we've got a mixture of the different oils. Plus we've got some omega-7 that they found that there's a number of real good studies that are coming out on omega-7. And so we've got a blend of the oils. We don't just throw one in there and make a $10 product. We've got a product that actually works. And then when they were making it, when they were formulating it, they added the CoQ10. And CoQ10 is a nutrient, an enzyme that your body needs for proper cardiovascular function. And so we throw it in there. So you don't have to go out and buy a separate CoQ10 product. And you really need to be getting CoQ10. And then I'm looking at my list, you know, I wrote this down this morning of multivitamin. I take the Omega, I take the 360 product that Sizzle developed. Again, because it's based on real science. It's based on what you need today versus just sprinkle a little bit in there and just saying, oh, we put 100% of everything in there. You know, we put what we need. I take a product called Body Shield. It's a product that I use on a daily basis to remove heavy metals out of my body, heavy metals, toxins. So it moves them out, but at the same time, because of the fulvic acid, it's helping push the nutrients into the cell. And so I take that every day. I especially take it when I'm going to fly. And the reason I take it when I'm going to fly is because we know that they use a lot of recirculated air. The air from the front of the airplane is circulated into the back. The air from the back of the plane is circulated into the front. And you're breathing everybody else's illnesses and all of that. Plus, they use some toxic stuff to clean those airplanes. And you know what? I just don't need any of that. So I take Body Shield for that. Brain Vitality. I take Brain Vitality every morning. And what is Brain Vitality? It's got a form of curcumin that is so super powerful that it helps to get rid of the inflammation in the brain. It helps with inflammation in the digestive system. It's got a form of magnesium threonate, that they found passed through the blood-brain barrier. So it passes from my bloodstream into my brain faster. And so it makes it so that I have faster connections, right? That's why I can think so quickly. But I take that every single morning. I take Restore for Life. It's not a sizzle-based product, but I take it because I believe in the science. It helps create an environment that that allows for probiotics to live in my digestive system. And I really believe that the digestive system is key. I take a product from Sizzle called For Restore. And what is For Restore? Well, that's an L-arginine type product. And 1998 Nobel Prize was given to a group of scientists because they found that L-arginine helped to create healthier blood vessels. It helped make it so that you had better blood flow. It cleaned the arteries out. Plus, it's got L-citrulline. It's got a number of other ingredients in it that help with making sure that your body's hormones are balanced out, makes it so you have a stronger cardiovascular stuff. But I mean, that's all based on the science behind the ingredient. It's not based on the product. So we can't say it cures this or that. I've noticed that since I started taking it, I noticed that my blood pressure seems to be better. You know, is it a fluke? Is it just because I'm more relaxed after taking it? I don't know, but I take it. Again, you know, I drink the hydrogen water. I add a hydrogen water stick to my water a couple times a day. I drink the Sizzle coffee. I've been sitting here drinking coffee. You can see my mug, even says Sizzle Cafe on it. And I drink Sizzle coffee. And reason why is because when you're looking at coffee, most coffee has acrylamides in it. Acrylamides they found in California, Proposition 65. Acrylamides cause cancer. And so we infrared roast our beans to decrease the likelihood that there's going to be acrylamides in there. Now, anytime you cook anything, anytime you roast anything, could there be some acrylamide formation? Sure. But you lower the risk by infrared roasting because you're not bringing it up to that extremely high temperature. But not only that, we take and we process the beans, we grind them properly so that we keep all the oils, the essential oils, we keep all the antioxidants in the coffee. In the coffee bean, you see a lot of studies on that. So it makes it so that it's healthier. Then we've added chaga, which is the a king of herbs. It's not really a fungus. It's not really a mushroom, but it's it grows on the side of birch trees, and they found that it bumps up the immune system. So it's in our coffee, and really, you know, a lot of good studies on chaga. Then we've got Gotu Kola. Gotu Kola helps with the brain. We've got Bacapa, which helps with the brain. We've got Ganoderma, which helps the immune system. So we add it to the coffee. So I like to drink that because, in my opinion, if I'm going to drink coffee, if I'm going to drink a pot of coffee a day, I'm going to drink healthy coffee. I take another product. It's called Zeolite. They found that in studies, it removes heavy metals and toxins and pushes them out of the body. I like it. It's natural. I'd rather do that than do an IV chelation to pull these heavy metals out. CBD. I take CBD every single day. I've been doing that for a number of years, just because all the studies on it on CBD, Andrea and I did a talk on it 2 weeks ago on this call, and so you can read about that there. But you know, you'll find that as time goes on, we're going to talk more and more about CBD. Sizzling is a great product. It's a special a protein drink. It tastes really good. That's key, because you know, if I want to do something, if I'm going to take something that's a food or a meal replacement, it darn well better taste good, because if it doesn't taste good, chances are I'm going to walk by and I'm like, oh, I don't want another one of those. But here's a chocolate or vanilla, but I like the chocolate meal replacement. And you can mix it with water, and it's got a good chocolate flavor to it. It's made with real cocoa beans, and so it's got a real good chocolate flavor. But it's specially designed, so it's a protein that your body can use. You can use it to rebuild yourself. It helps out with filling you up because of the fiber. And according to the studies that are out there, they say that most of us are getting only about half the recommended daily allowance of fiber that we want to have. You know, during the day, I use a product called Ripped. Ripped is a amino acid product that was developed in conjunction with the National Institutes of Aging, the National Institutes of Health. And what they found is that this helps with rebuilding muscle. And as we look at that studies on dementia and Alzheimer's, they say that if you're building skeletal muscle, your brain's not going to deteriorate so quickly. That's why I do it. I don't build it to bulk up or anything like that. I do it because I want to protect my brain. I drink fire and iced tea. It's an energizing iced tea because I'm fat and I don't want to be fat. Again, I drink some more hydrogen water in the afternoon. I take Sizzling sometime in the afternoon. On top of that, you know, I'm mixing this all with different things like Bragg's apple cider vinegar. I'm drinking kombucha tea. I try and eat some old-fashioned yogurt, the stuff that doesn't have all the sugar in it. And I make sure and I get avocado, and I'm eating wild game. I'm eating meat that I went out and actually hunted myself. I process it myself. I know what's going into that. I try and buy organic vegetables as much as I can, especially, you know, certain things like celery and potatoes, the roots, because they pull those toxins out of the soil. So I try and make sure that those are organic. In the evening, again, I do an extra shot of fucoidan. I like to do my fucoidan again at the night because it has so many beneficials, moving those stem cells around, getting rid of inflammation. I do more of the age pill in the evening. I take a product called TSX. I take that in the afternoon or evening. And the reason that I do that is the studies that came out with the Nobel Prize in 2009, 10 years ago, they found that if you can protect your telomeres, you can protect your DNA. So again, that's what TSX was based on, that science. We can't make any claims about the product, but you look at the science behind that 2009 Nobel Prize for Medicine. I do an extra curcumin product in the afternoon, evening, because again, you know, so much inflammation, and they show that curcumin helps with the brain. I don't want to get dementia. To me, it's the most dreaded disease that I can think of. I would rather die than get dementia. And so I'm doing a lot of extra things. You'll hear me talking about that. I take an extra brain vitality in the evening. I do another super omega in the evening. I do the body shield in the evening. I take some inner chi at night, and the inner chi, it helps to balance out the hormones in inner chi for him. I take more of the Renovator at night because your body does a lot of the healing, a lot of the repair work at night. I take another product that I haven't talked about before. It's called Avenger, and I take that at night. Again, what is Avenger? Avenger is a product that helps with inflammation, but it also helps with chronic immune system types of challenges. And it was developed originally to help out with people that have Lyme disease. It addresses some of those issues with Lyme disease. We can't make any claims on it, but if you look at the ingredients on certain things, it's got ingredients that have been shown to help with these type of things, melting that biofilm and getting it so that the body's immune system can have better function. I take some more of the CBD at night. I take some more of the zeolite at night. I take a product called Balance D. And sometimes I think that confuses people. They see the D on there. They think it's a vitamin D product. But it's not a vitamin D product. The D stands for digestion. So it's a balanced digestive system type of a product. And so I like that at night. Again, it heals up the gut, and they're finding that the gut is so important. And then I take something called the Sinolitic Activator. And what I do with the Sinolitic Activator is that the science behind this, and again, you'll hear more and more and more about this, is that the science behind senolytics is that you want to get rid of the old, dead, dying cells, the cells that really what they are is they're the cells that they should be going through apoptosis. They should be going away naturally, but what they are is they're just hanging on. They're hanging on for dear life, and they're gonna stay there. And so these cells, what they do is they cause problems. They don't want to die, so what they do is they cause problems with your normal, younger, healthier cells. And so the science of senolytics is let's get rid of those old, dead, dying cells so that the new, younger cells can come in and take over and and rebuilds. You have a younger body. And, you know, so that's what I'm currently taking. And a long list, you're probably going, holy cow, when do you have time to eat? Right. And yeah, when I was applying for health insurance last year or 2 years ago, that's what the interviewer said to me. She said, well, no wonder you don't get sick. And I jokingly laughed with her a little bit about it. She said, how do you have time to eat? You're taking vitamins all day. And I said, well, I just take a handful here and a handful there. And that's what I do all day long. No, you know, trust me, I eat, look at me. But in general, you know, general speaking, I'm in pretty good shape. I have energy all day long. I don't get tired. I sleep well. I have good brain function. I've got to get rid of my reading glasses. I don't wear reading glasses anymore. Yeah, my hearing is going a little bit, but maybe that's selective hearing. Maybe it's from being around loud things like, you know, guns and vehicles and that sort of thing, tractors when I was young. You know, considering that 12 years ago, they told me I'd never walk again after a motorcycle wreck, I get around pretty good. My joints don't bother me. For the most part, I don't have to take any medications at all for pain. Once in a while, you know, when I'm too active, if I go out and I walk too far, I've got to take some you know, over-the-counter pain medication, but I never take any of these opioids. You know, boy, that's a scare and a half, right? That's a nightmare, not just here, but all around the world. But think about it in the United States. We consume, I think I read when I was on my way to Australia, that we consume 80% of the manufactured opioids in the world. 80% right here in the United States. I mean, geez, we don't need that. Let's get rid of that. You know, that drug cartel right there. You know, that's a major thing. And now we're finding out that these you know, big pharma is supplying the companies that are making the artificial ones, like the fentanyl thing that's killing a lot of our young people. Yeah, more research on that needs to be done. Shut those people down. But anyhow, we'll stay away from my opinions. I don't want this to be an opinionated thing. Although if you're on my Facebook page, you probably have realized I really am not all that politically correct with anything. I'm anti-PC. All right, folks, have a great day. Thanks for being here with me today, and I will get this onto our YouTube channel in the next hour or so. Have a good one. Bye-bye.